and being able to see things I would never have seen had I just been, come in, see some things, and head on to the next thing. So again, because I was working for the show, trying to find interesting stores and all of the little outlying neighborhoods, I really felt like I got a good sense of going to all the different neighborhoods, and wouldn't have had a reason to had I not been there for 5 weeks and working.
Nice. I really love when I kind of have the option of discovering something that it's out of the touristic spots, like these kind of places where the locals go, and then suddenly
Yes.
you are the only foreigner there. The sensation of like, oh, I found something that it wasn't supposed to be for me, uh,
Right.
and that I think that takes time. It's a matter of integrating yourself. I think it also matters on which country you are. There are cultures that take more attention on these kind of details of like you going to the same grocery store every time. No, here in Greece, for example, if you speak some words of Greek and they see you doing the effort, they treat you in a complete different way, although they treat everyone perfectly. But when you do the effort of the language, it's another level. And when you go to the same fruit shop over years, they is what you say. They don't necessarily know your name, but you are that guy who has been here for 3 years going to buy the tomatoes to us. We have, like, and they know you, and that,
Right.
and they give you, I don't know, have you ever tried this? The other day I tried a vegetable that tastes like mustard. It's like in a spinach, and if you, as much as you chew it, it tastes more and more of mustard.
Oh,
Never
is it
tried
like a
before.
mustard leaf?
Yes, similar to Master Lift, yeah,
Interesting.
and which
Yeah.
I've never tried before, and it's just because these guys know me from some time, and they're like, oh, this is for free, try this. Okay, whatever. I don't even
Yeah.
know what it is, but in Greek, trying to speak, it's curious,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So, do you feel like you have totally integrated now into the culture there?
No, I don't think 3 years are enough for being fully integrated into. The language is very complex. Greek, it's very complex. I think I have more facility because at the end, Mediterranean people tend to have similar ways of doing things. Let's say like this, but for being like fully doing Greek lifestyle on everything and everything, I think you need more time, and I'm probably setting much more. One of the things that I suffered a little bit here is getting deeper relationships with Greek people, which is something that foreigners tend to. Although I met Greeks from the very beginning due to sports and everything, it's difficult to make the deep connection in there because, of course,
Yes.
everyone has their circles, and since they were 5 years old with their friends from school or from university and whatever, and you are entering there like a mushroom in the middle of nowhere. But yeah.
Right.
Although I've integrated more here than in other places. It
Have
feels
you?
more like home.
And why do you think that is so?
Culturally wise, I think the culture between Barcelona and Athens and the way of doing things and taking things a little bit slower when you grab a coffee or when you, I don't know, paying less attention to work and more to life and this kind of stuff. Also, sometimes like the chaos but organized thing, being chaotic but at the same time being extra organized with stuff fits pretty well into Athens. Let's say like this. Yeah, it's a curious experience. Greece in general
Yes.
has a lot to offer.
I
I
love
want.
that. I've been there several times and love
Nice.
it. So
It's a cool country.
need to go back.
You should. Like, there is a lot of the mainland these years that we've been here traveling that nobody knows about it, and everyone goes to the islands. And the mainland Greece, it's incredibly beautiful. Talking about beautiful places, I wanted to close this first part of the section, and I will ask some questions that probably they ask you thousands of times, but you visited 130 countries, which is a lot. Like, what are your favorite or your hidden gems in the terms of like, okay, this is a place that I was not expecting that it was that beautiful, and then suddenly surprised
Oh,
you?
I'm going to have to think about that, the hidden gem, for a moment. But I do get asked a lot about my favorite places,
Mm.
and I say there are favorites for different reasons. So,
Okay.
favorite for friendliness of the people, New Zealand and Australia.
Okay.
Favorite for shock value. You know, you just everything seemed to be shocking. The heat was shocking. The flies and the lack of sanitation was shocking. That would be Egypt.
Mm.
Favorite place for shopping would be Paris, even though prices are not great, but there's just so much, and it's just so amazing. So I have a few favorites. More importantly, I would say I have places that I'm glad that I went, but I don't need to go back. And I think we
Hmm.
probably all have those. That okay, once was great, but it was enough. For
Mm.
example, Easter Island. That was incredible, just absolutely amazing. But it's also a place that once you see it, it's not a place, it's not changing. So you don't need to go back and see it again.
Mm. Makes sense. What about for food? What is your favorite food you tried so far?
Yeah, you know what? I am not a foodie, not in the least.
Okay.
So I sort of eat to survive rather than live to eat like some
Okay.
people. So I typically don't put any time and effort into big cultural experiences for food. So I have, and I know we'll talk about this next half. My show, I purposely don't talk about food because there's so many
Hmm.
people who do. And so I will leave that to the experts of, people who have great sense of taste and smell and can tell you all the nuances of all the special cultural, flavors.
Makes sense. But I think you need to find your niche, and if you have it clear, that's good for you, I suppose. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, with that said, I would say like we could rather like jump to the second part of the episode already. I mean, we have been putting it there, here and there. Hey there, everyone. If you're loving this episode so far and you want to stay tuned with other expat experiences, make sure to hit the subscribe button and follow our podcast so you never miss an episode.
The Expert, Ms. World Traveller.
You have, I would say, like a website where you have more like a blog approach into your travels, but it's like a web series at the same time that you give insights for solo traveling. You have social media now about your travels also. I saw Instagram and LinkedIn, I think also. And you also have a YouTube channel where you have a show where you explain your travels, but you also try to explain, I don't know, I've seen a lot of like giving recommendations of local shops, where to go for like these kind of things. What is the whole, if you have to summarize, what is the show about?
Well, the mission of Ms. World Traveler is to inspire women to travel and then shop local. So we feature women artists, designers, entrepreneurs, and men too. Just our focus is women, with the idea being that if you know something about a place and been into their shop and met them and know their story, you will feel comfortable. That will inspire you to want to go there. So you mentioned the blog. I haven't worked on the blog for a while, so that probably isn't the most important thing
Mhm.
that we're doing. It just, it's a matter of time. You have to
Absolutely.
choose as to what are you going to spend your time doing. And so the YouTube series has really just taken over
Mm.
everything. So mostly that's what we work on. And we go into a city and I shop the whole city in 2 days. And in those 2 days, I storyboard it, I write a script, I lay everything out, and then we film on one day. My niece comes with me, my middle niece, and we film on one day and then we move on to the next place. So it's very fast paced, and I'm really trying to give information that people don't typically get.
Mm.
So, this, there are thousands of travel blogs and travel sites out there, and it's all about where to stay and where to go and where to eat. And those are good things to know. But since everybody's doing it, I wanted to do something different. So for Ms. World Traveler, we're going to be focused on style, design, fashion, art, antiques, history, culture, architecture, sort of the design and the style side of things. I think that's what sets us apart.
Interesting. Where does the name comes from? I know that you work in pageantry, and I suppose that Mrs. World Travel comes from that. But how did you came with the idea?
Yeah, it's an homage to the 40 plus years that I've spent in pageantry. I was obviously a title holder back in my young days, but I stayed in it. I judge all over the country. I'm a coach, so I'm an MC. I do a lot with pageantry. And so when I came up with the name Ms. World Traveler, I almost didn't know what it was going to be. I've had it for several years and just, set it aside. It will come to me how I'm supposed to use it. And just one day, it was like the scales were lifted off my eyes and I could sort of see it's supposed to be this YouTube series. It's supposed to be a, website and a, just travel information. And so I made up the banner and, have the little crown that I just have a picture. I don't wear it, when I'm out traveling, but it's just an homage to my pageant community and something that sets me apart a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. It's also an amazing marketing tool because I wear it when we film. And so I'm out there and people come up and say, what is this? Or they'll say, congratulations. And I have to say, oh, thanks. I didn't win anything. But it's nice that people have come up. They want to take pictures, which means they're going to go home and Google it and maybe follow us once they've, seen us out doing our thing.
Yeah, so there is a marketing behind it also. Of course, it's a strategy to put yourself out there and show who you are. No, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Maybe coming back to the importance and the emphasis that you put on shopping local. How do you find the shops? It's because when we were saying, finding a generic shop in every city, it's relatively easy, no? And finding the big brands, it's relatively easy. But how do you connect with the real local shops?
Yes. Thank you for saying that, Mark, because I work really, really hard to find those little, like the hidden gems. You were asking about the hidden gems.
Yeah. If you liked this short video out of the full episode, you can find the link to it around here and in the description below. Of course, if you are also interested in checking out other episodes, please subscribe and like.